All right, we are rolling. 3, 2.
Peace and grace. Thanks for staying with us. We appreciate you so much. I'm Rachelle Wilson here for Make Some Intelligent Noise, working in collaboration with CCC Television, Community Corporation, Community, CCC. cut. Oh! What is it?
Community Communication.
Yes! Oh my God! I can't believe it.
And listen, to say CCC and then say Community Communication Corporation, you repeated yourself. So either pick one.
Well, I was trying to let them know what the CCC stand for.
Well, you gotta know then.
I should know that after 40 years, right? It just skipped my mind. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm so sorry about that.
All right, let's go see. Okay, we're rolling. 3, 2.
Thanks for staying with us. Peace and grace. I'm Rachelle Wilson for Make Some Intelligent Noise, the Justice Movement, working in collaboration with CCCTV. And so now joining me, we're gonna dive into a conversation. Earlier we talked about exoneration. We talked about Marcus Garvey. Now we're going to talk about what it means to be incarcerated wrongly, falsely accused and wrongly incarcerated. And my guest joining me now is none other than Mr. Leroy Evans.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for being here. I know we just talked for a few minutes, and just in that little bit of conversation, my heart is thumping with compassion for what you've been through. You did 42 years in prison for a crime that he did not commit. And this was in the 80s, 1980s, when drugs and cocaine and various other drugs were just being brought into our black, brown, and golden communities. Where it was being brought from, I think many of us, we can kind of put the pieces in the puzzle, right? We can connect the dots. So, Mr. Leroy, you were incarcerated in 1980. Tell us a little bit about what happened. How did that happen to you? What's the story?
Well, back in them days, coming up, at that time, 1980, when this trial happened, I was 23 years old. But in my previous years, I always tried to mentor children and guide them in the right direction. Because I come from a big family.
Yes.
So I always was like a mentor. And one day, crime happened that no one knew really what happened until it happened. That one of the kids I was, mentoring committed a crime, and they said I had something. He said that I had something to do with it, which was the family and the detective, all of them got him to say that I was involved because he was, at this time, he was on 16, 17 years old.
Wow. So let me put this into perspective. So you were a mentor to young people, to the youth. And at that time, a 16-year-old committed a crime, a felony crime.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, it was a homicide and a robbery.
Homicide robbery.
Homicide robbery.
Yes.
Okay. And the family and the detective suggested that this young man say that you were a part of that?
They were trying to get him to come up with a story to try to make, because at that time you already know about the racial division in the two parts of the city, Chester. And being that he was a young kid, they were trying to figure, you going to jail, you going to death row, and trying to scare the kid up. And he never said I had anything to do with it. He kept saying, no, I didn't. And the mother, God rest her soul, she passed now, and the detective, which passed now, but tried to say that I had something, get him to say that I had something to do with it, to make it look like, because I was older.
You were older, exactly. And rather than her 16-year-old baby go to prison, in her mind as a mom, she was thinking, why not let the older guy go to prison? Did that young man ever serve any prison time?
Oh, yes, he pleaded guilty to a life sentence. Yes, he did. He pleaded guilty to a life sentence. And so happened throughout the years, they overturned juvenile life sentence now. So they juvenile can't serve the life sentence no more, but they give him time. So he ended up with, they changed his time to, how much time they gave him, I really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I know at this time, I think they was giving him life, is how much time they had in, like 35 to life or 40, somewhere in that between, I really don't know.
But you did 42 straight in a prison.
Yes, I did 42 straight. Never getting out from the time I was arrested.
Oh my God, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's heartbreaking to me. That's heartbreaking to me. That really bothers me to think of how the system was then in the 80s. And I look at it now, we're in the 20s, right? And yet I really don't see a lot of change in how some of our young people have been incarcerated. And the dynamics behind what causes it. So, wow. So you were released in what year?
I got in 2022, September the 30th.
So it's only been 2 years that you've been home.
Yes, ma'am.
And your family during that time, you were 23 at the time. Had you had any children at that time?
Yes, I had my son was 5 years old at the time.
Okay.
5 years old. That's my fiance out there now with my granddaughter, my son's daughter.
Okay.
One of his children, I can say.
Yes, yes. So you've been home now for 2 years.
Yes, ma'am.
What does life look like now? But before you answer that, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We're just going to be right back in a second so you can hear the answer. What is life like after 42 years of imprisonment for wrongly convicted sentence? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is so heartbreaking.
Yes.
That is so heartbreaking.
Clear. 5 minutes.
That was only 5 minutes?
Yeah. So don't try and wait for me. So I'm always going to wait till the guest is talking, and then I'll get up. So you already know that
When you
I
stand
get
up.
that you
Okay.
have a minute. I don't
All right.
want you to rush when I get stand up. I don't want you to, all right, we gotta go. Like, you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
About a minute.
All right, cool beans.
So we want to do another 8 minutes, and then we'll
Yes,
we'll go down.
a
We'll
full
fill in
8
the
minutes. Let's get it all. Will his family be coming out, or is this just Mr. Leroy and I?
I believe it's just you. It's just you.
Okay. All right. So, ready when you are.
All right, we are 4. Oh boy! All right. Rolling 3, 2.
Thank you again for staying with us. We really appreciate you. This is an amazing story, and perhaps it's a story that you or someone in your family is maybe also familiar with.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor. I'm sorry. Go to 3. Go to Y. He's blue.
Mm-hmm. Let's go here. Let's go 10. Yeah. Go to 10. Is that 10?
No.
Next to it.
What you want to go? No.
So, yeah. Give him some a little bit more. Okay. Yeah. I'll go for that. That's better.
Let's fix this too for you. There you go. There you go, Mr. Leroy.
Now, what I like to see, that those doc got a line, clothing line or something. Well, you should put you on some doc clothes and everything. You got Nike on and all that. Like, man, this man comes from some designers in his family and everything. I thought we was gonna support them. He got a Pepsi on the shirt. Pepsi. We want to support our people.
Hey, all of the support, I guess.
I know. I got you.
All right,
Okay.
I'm ready. I want to get back into it
Okay,
because
sure
this is
enough,
a
sure
really good story.
Sure enough. I'm sorry. All right, we are rolling. 3, 2.
And thanks for staying with us. We appreciate you staying with us. I'm Rachelle Wilson, broadcasting to you from the Red Room Studios with none other than Mr. James Bailey and, of course, production CCCTV, Mr. Don Thomas, to whom I send you both much love and respect. Thank you. But we're talking about a really important issue that maybe many families watching may have some familiarity with. Being wrongly accused, wrongly incarcerated, and then sentenced to prison to do actual time. We're talking to Mr. Leroy Evans, who did 42 years. He took the brunt for someone else's crime. And so now we're just getting back, Mr. Leroy. So before we went to the break, we were talking about what is life like after incarceration. But before you tell me that, I want you to tell me a little bit. 23 years old, going into a federal penitentiary when you did not do anything wrong. What is going through your mind, your spirit, your soul? What's happening with you?
When it first happened, really surprising, because at that age, I had never been in trouble in my life. This was the first time I ever been involved in any type of crime they tried to say I was involved in. And I'm like, I'm 23 years old, never been in no trouble in my entire life. All of a sudden, this type of incident, it was really shocking. And I'm thinking about, well, I have a son, I have a fiance, I'm trying to raise my son. What kind of life is this, But sometimes we have to deal with the old situation when it comes to us.
So, take us back, if it's not too emotional for you, take us back to the very moment you're 23, you're walking into the prison, the gates, the doors are slamming behind you. Where is your psyche? Where are you? What are you thinking? Like, every prison is a whole different world.
Sure.
And most people don't recognize that unless you've ever been inside of a prison for a stay, not just a visit. But for an actual stay, it's a different world. There's different guidelines and rules and regulations in a prison that may not exist out here, right? And I'm not talking about the guards and the commissioners. I'm talking about within the population. They make the rules, and you got to live by them.
Sometimes they do, yes.
And so you're walking in at 23 years old. The gates are slamming behind you. You're led eventually into some kind of a cell. Tell me what you're thinking.
All the time, from the very beginning, from the county to the state prison, you have the time to sit back and think about some things that went on in your life. And I personally always thank to God because I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I come from a big family with the support, mother, Mr. Soul. And, from that, with the upbringing, Christian mother, and living that type of life, trouble was never in my mother, the way we grew up, it wasn't a whole lot of trouble family, really. So hopefully that carried on to a long ways.
Okay. So you kind of just kept your head down, stayed to yourself.
Not really, coming through those, when you come through the period, you find out what's going on in life, then you follow the rules and regulations, and then I did the same thing I did when I was out there, try to mentor the kids that was coming in, knowing that a whole lot of them had license, some of them had a lot of time, but a whole lot of them probably go back out in society. So you try to mentor them throughout their little time and try to guide them so they can, make the right choices if they get back out there in society.
Mr. Leroy, I'm a very firm believer for so many reasons, and I hope that you'll be able to agree with me on this. When God gives you a purpose, whatever that purpose is, no matter what the circumstance or the situation is, you will always find yourself doing that thing. There may be breaks and points and here and there, but whatever your purpose is in life, you will do that because there is no plan B with God. So you have been mentoring children while you were free, and then you went into the prison, and to kind of help you to get through the time to mentor to others.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a purpose. That was that, and there for all we know, sir, and this doesn't make it right or any better, but for all we know, maybe God allowed you to go into that prison setting because there was one person there that God needed to talk to or touch or have you minister to their heart.
Yes.
Right?
Sure.
Sometimes we don't always understand God's plan,
right.
but we know that God has a plan, and there is no plan B.
Yes.
So now fast forward, now the prison gates are opening and they're letting you out, and you're walking out with whatever, little bit of belongings that you had. Tell me what that feeling and that thought, what were you thinking at that time?
Oh, man. Whew. You talking about a feeling. The night before I was coming home, I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep at all. When I finally went to the court and they released me, and they had me to walk out the front gate, because my lawyer had said I want him to walk out the front gate, that came in.
That's right.
And news and everyone out there. The support of the families and friends and people, the blessing of just stepping out, seeing that, I just thank God, man. I said, thank God for this blessing.
Yeah.
Such a blessing to be able to step out again after this period of time and still have your right sense of mind and the blessing that God allowed you to have.
Yeah.
It's always been this blessing. Yes, ma'am.
There's a gentleman that I had the good fortune of being able to meet. He had spent 45 or 47 years in prison for a crime that he had not committed. His name was Elmer Daniels. I've lost touch with Elmer. I'm definitely looking for him. But if you're watching, Elmer Daniels, may God bless you and keep you as well. Who was also exonerated after 45 or 47 years for a crime he never committed. A crime he never committed. So it's not uncommon to hear of these kinds of stories, as heartbreaking as they are. They're very real. And I just believe, make some intelligent noise, and all of the other activists and advocates that I work along. I'm the silent activist and silent advocator. You don't see me out in the media all of the time in the things that I do. I'm quietly working behind the scenes. And with those folks that I work with, we've got to do better. We've got to do better. We can't keep putting innocent people in prison for any length of time, but certainly not for 45 and 40 years. It's just too much. I can't thank you enough, Mr. Leroy, for coming today to tell your story. It's a heartbreaking story, but it's a glorious story because now you're free. You served your purpose, and you're in alignment with what God has for your life. I wish you the very best success.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You deserve it so much. Thank you so much. I'm Rachelle Wilson, and again, I can't thank you enough for joining us for today's conversation. It is an absolute honor and a pleasure to be in your company. So keep those dials right here, and we'll be right back. But for now, God loves you, and so too do I.
Clear. I want you to do the ending over, the closing over. So we're going to switch this. So we're going to switch from B to A.
Okay.
So your next guest is your first guest. So we're going to do an ending and say to prepare for my next guest,
Okay.
Alicia, where we'll be talking about.
Okay, so he's going first then, and then Alicia. Gotcha.
Right.
Up, and I think that's my other guest.
Right. We're right on time.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yes, that's him.
You're actually done, sir. We're actually done. You don't have to be there. We're just filming you.
Okay.
Hey, that's Pastor D! So we're done?
Yes, we are done, but I will definitely
right
get
here,
your
man.
information. I want to keep in touch with you.
I didn't get to welcome you.
Okay. I really appreciate
you electronically.
Absolutely. I'm going to take this.
Yes, I'll get it from Don. You have his phone number?
Yep.
Yes, I'll get it from him.
Just any information I'll get it from Doc, because we don't know if we want to give out your personal phone.
Right.
You got a manager or something of that nature. We'll get that information. We're not going
Yes, because I'll have you on I have my own radio station as well, so
Okay.
I would like to do that
Sure.
as well.
I really
Hey,
appreciate it,
Mr.
man.
D!
Thank you so much.
I'm good.
Yeah.
You got to give me a few minutes to change clothes. because it looks like I'm doing
All right, boss.
a lot more than what I'm doing. So just relax.
Let's do it.
You ready to close this one out?
Yes.
My long lost son here. Come home.
You're very welcome. Thank you,
I think I can
sir.
get to church with you.
God bless you.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So let me close this out. Let's close this so I can go and change it to my next, where I'm at. You ready?
Let's see.
Whew. The making of a television show. I love it. I love it.
All right, we're rolling.
And
Hold on. We're rolling. 3, 2.
thanks so much for staying with us. But we're going to be back in just a moment with an amazing guest that you can't miss that conversation. I'm promising you it's going to be enlightening and delightful. So stay with me. I'm Rachelle Wilson for Make Some Intelligent Noise here at CCCTV. Be right back.
Clear.
Okay.
Just a quick question. Do you want to, and you don't have to, but do you want to identify what it was about or who was the next guest, or you want to just...
Yeah, I'm just going to come in and...
Sure.
Right.
All right, let's rock
So
it.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go change clothes.
Absolutely.
I'll be right back. Going to go change clothes for scene 3.